We're going to break an unbreakable Nazi code and win the war.
Oh.
You know, to pull off this irascible genius routine, one actually has to be a genius.
I'm designing a machine that will allow us to break every message.
Welcome back to the broadcast.
Day.
Well, that was a clip from the movie, the upcoming film, The Imitation Game. And the man behind the script is joining us now. I'm so excited about this movie. And we have Mr. Graham Moore here. You wrote this script for this incredible film, right?
I did. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on the show.
We're so glad to have. Tell us about Imitation Game.
Yeah, Imitation Game is the true story of a British mathematician and cryptographer named Alan Turing. And I know most people sort of hear the words British mathematician and cryptographer, and they're like, what is that? What does that mean? And that's a totally normal reaction. But he was extremely important. He was a math professor who kind of got plucked out of the university to break the Nazi Enigma code during the Second World War. It was the sort of huge act and hugely important for the Allied effort in the war. So
like, I always think about U-571 when you think about those codes that needed to be... I may offend you right now. You look like you're 22.
Right.
How old
I'm 33, so I'm incredibly flattered by that. Thank you. I know. I'm going to tell my parents. They're going to be so flattered that you said that.
But Graham, it is a good point. I mean, at 33, this is a big story to tell. How did you get interested in the story? How did you find out about it and get the rights to it and all that?
Yeah, you know, believe it or not, I know I seem really hip and cool now, but when I was a teenager, that was not the case. I was a tremendous computer nerd as a teenager. I went to space camp. I went to computer programming camp. My parents were like, who are you? Where did you come from? Who are your real parents? And so, you know, among kind of like awkward techie kids, Alan Turing is this object of intense fascination. You know, the way he broke the Nazi Enigma code is he built the first computer. And that's what the film sort of shows. So among computer science people, his story is this amazing story that we'd kind of always wanted to be able to see on screen, that I'd always wanted to be able to see a film about.
And in your dreams, did you ever imagine that Benedict Cumberbatch, who's like one of the hottest actors out there right now,
and Keira Knightley,
like, did you ever think these were the people who'd be playing these parts, or did you have people in mind?
You know, I don't think any writer thinks they're going to get lucky enough to get a cast like this. I mean, we were so lucky to sort of, especially as an American writing about British people, we wanted to go and have an all-British cast for sort of authenticity, and it was so lovely to sort of go, and Benedict raised his hand right away and said, you know, I need to be a part of this film. This is such an important story. It's a story that needs to be told. I'll clear my schedule, whatever it takes. I have to be a part of it. And Keira did the same thing, and it was so great to see so many people sort of come together to get this story out there.
What are your techie friends going to think?
Well, I got very nervous. Are they going to be
proud of you?
I hope so. I got very nervous. We did a screening earlier this week for the NSA, which was very scary. We went to NSA headquarters, and I was sort of nervous seeing a bunch of like sort of modern techie code breaker people watching the film, and they were so positive afterwards. And they were like, "Oh, you got it right." And I get really nervous when we screen for mathematicians because it's like, what if the math is wrong?
They're looking at the screen. They're like, "No, see that one right there, the second line? That's totally wrong." Right?
Yes, no, but they totally loved it, and it's been really great to see the sort of outpouring of affection for it as we've started to get to show it for a few people.
And what are your parents thinking now?
I think I hope they're proud. They got to see the film a couple weeks ago, and they seem to like it, so they're like, oh, wow. I think when we first started the film, they were sort of like, they weren't sure it was real.
Yeah.
Like, they were like, oh, you're going to London and you're making this movie, and it's starring this British guy with a name that we can't pronounce. Like, who is he? They don't know about movies
Talking
or anything
about a
like
code that we don't understand.
Yeah, so they thought it was like me, and they were like me and my weirdly named friend, like, going to London. You know, they didn't, like, feel like a real thing. But since they've gotten to see the film, it's like, oh, wow, you made, like, a real movie.
And, like, a real movie that's getting all kinds of Oscar buzz. And like you said, no one's bought a ticket yet. And what is that like for you, hearing that this is that kind of movie that everyone's going to be talking about come award season? You
know, I think if it gets the story of Alan Turing out there into the world, we'll be very happy. That was always the goal with this film. This is a story that a lot of people don't know, and we thought it was so important that people do know it. So that was our goal. Tell his story, bring it to a wider audience. And yeah, right now I think we're just trying to get it into theaters. As you said, no one's bought a ticket yet. So once the first person buys a ticket, I think I'll be able to...
Yeah.
Two? Okay, we got three. Four tickets. All right, then we're fine. My job is done.
Okay, Graham, so you're going to win an Oscar, and then what's next?
That's right.
I'm finishing my second novel. I also have a sort of second life writing books. So my first book came out a couple years ago, and I'm just finishing my second one now. Hopefully it should be out by the end of next year.
Life About Sherlock? Is that?
The Sherlockian is the name of my first book.
Okay.
Came out in 2010. And my second is another historical sort of thriller that we're fighting about titles right now. But it'll be out end of next year.
I love it. Well, congratulations.
Busy young man.
Incredible.
You're so accomplished.
I know.
33.
Oh, that's so kind. Thank you.
So inadequate.
I know, 35.
It's not like I broke the Nazi Enigma code, you guys. Like,
You may
the bar's been set pretty high.
You got the story out there.
there, for many of us to know and learn about. So thanks.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, definitely thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you being here.
Of course, thank you guys for chatting.
Awesome. Okay, for more details about the Imitation Game, just head to thebroadcasttv.com and click on today's links. All right, when we come back, as football is in full swing, we're talking about some fashionable finds that will keep you warm while cheering on your favorite team. Come on back.